The question is the House to now adjourn. I give the call to the member for Bradfield.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, I am proud to represent the electorate of Bradfield, which is a very diverse electorate, reflecting, of course, the fact that it is part of a nation which is very diverse. And that diversity is demonstrated and manifested in many ways, including the extensive range of community festivals, events and celebrations. In recent months in Bradfield, we've celebrated Diwali in November, Chinese New Year, the Year of the Dragon, in February, Lunar New Year, Persian New Year, celebrated just yesterday, and Ramadan, of course, currently under observation. And we have had significant local events marking each of these important festivals in Bradfield. And I want to particularly acknowledge Ku-ring-gai Councillor Barbara Ward for her efforts in organising Diwali events. That's been something that she's been doing for some time, and it is certainly appreciated by our local Indian Australian community. In the electorate of Bradfield, according to the most recent census, 24.5% of residents report being of Chinese ancestry, 3.4% Indian, 3% Korean, 1.4% Persian. Bradfield is also home to the second largest Jewish community in New South Wales, of all the New South Wales federal electorates, and it hosts a significant Armenian community, as well as communities from so many of the nations of our wide and diverse world. Australia is a remarkable multicultural nation, and it is important that we maintain our harmony, our tolerance, our mutual respect, even when there are troubling events in the world which understandably engage very strong emotions from particular communities within Australia. Of course, there's a terrible conflict going on in Ukraine, and I want to acknowledge those people of Ukrainian origin who have chosen to take refuge in Australia, and particularly in Bradfield. I've met a number of Ukrainian Australians at the moment on temporary visas, but I certainly hope at least some of them become Australian citizens, should that be their choice. Of course, with a large Jewish community, there are many in Bradfield who are very troubled by the appalling terrorist attack that occurred in October last year. And of course, the Armenian community in Bradfield is very concerned about the ongoing conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan. The diversity of my electorate is very much reflective of the diversity and the increasing diversity of Australia. Our nation today is much more ethnically diverse than it was 50 years ago, and it's interesting to look at the numbers as to where people are coming from, and particularly the very strong presence in our immigration numbers of people from the two nations of the world that have populations of 1.4 billion, China, until recently the world's most populous country, now just overtaken by India. So two countries at around 1.4 billion, and it's not surprising, therefore, that both of those countries strongly represented in the numbers in Australia. But there has been a change over the years. In 2012, if you looked at the populations of people born in particular countries in Australia, at that time people born in England topped the list, just over 1 million. Next was those born in New Zealand, 569,000. Next, those born in China, 406,000. And fourth largest, those born in India, 355,000. And that was the picture as at 2012. On the most recent numbers, 2020, the English-born still hold a narrow lead at 961,000, but the Indian-born population now ranks second at 753,000, and the Chinese-born population third at 597,000. All who come to Australia from around the world make a distinctive contribution, and our nation has certainly benefited from those who have come from around the world to make a better life for themselves and their families in this country. And that is certainly true within my electorate of Bradfield, which, as I've argued, is in many ways a microcosm of modern Australia. The cultural diversity is something I very much welcome. I'm proud to represent such a diverse electorate, and I'm proud to have the chance to go to a number of festivals throughout the year, marking events of significance in particular communities.